Chapter 71, Underestimating the Enemy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Exile Planet. In the Yunxia Mountains, snow fell heavily. Yi Chen flew rapidly in the air with the tribesmen who were delivering the letter. The biting cold air whistled in the ears like thunder. Below, it was all white, and only the shapes of some peaks and forests could be vaguely distinguished. The situation did not improve until they flew out of the Yunxia Mountains. Under the guidance of the tribesmen who delivered the letter, Yi Chen flew rapidly towards the southeast. After finding the warriors of the Xuanhuan tribe at the edge of a snow-covered forest, he landed below. It took more than an hour in total. Looking at Yi Chen who fell from the sky, Gully and all the warriors were all stunned. The tribe leader, it's the tribe leader. He flew over from the sky. After waking up, some warriors prostrated themselves on the snow and worshipped devoutly. In an instant, all the tribesmen, including Gully, prostrated themselves on the ground. Sure enough, there are gods in the world. I don't know if the god of the Yunxia tribe is a real god, but the chief of his family is definitely a god. Gully, how are your injuries? Yi Chen's eyes moved to Gully, who was crawling on the ground, wrapped tightly in various animal skins. To the chief, they are all superficial injuries. They look serious, but they will be fine after a period of rest. Gully hurriedly explained. Yi Chen nodded. Tell me the details. Gully sorted out her thoughts a little and described the whole process in detail. Now, the number of soldiers in the East Road Army has reached more than 220. There are 11 people who have broken through to the first level of the spiritual law period. There are as many as 600 or 700 beasts under their control, including several beasts of about level 20. This strength is extremely powerful. Even if the troops are dispersed, they are crushed all the way. It was not until they approached this big forest that the East Road Army encountered trouble. In this big forest, all the powerful beasts were conquered by the gods of the Yunxia tribe and obeyed the command of the human race. The strength of the East Road Army is not weaker than the beasts in the forest, but because they wanted to conquer the entire Yunxia tribe intact, they did not dare to attack with all their strength. So they were always at a disadvantage, even when they were attacked by the Yunxia tribe. In turn, the East Road Army escaped with the speed advantage of the cloud-stepping art. Seeing the stalemate, Gully took a risky move and sneaked into the Yunxia tribe alone, wanting to assassinate the gods of the Yunxia tribe and destroy the faith of the people of the Yunxia tribe in one fell swoop. As a result, before she even saw the face of the gods of the Yunxia tribe, thunder fell from the sky. Even with her speed, she was severely injured by the endless thunder and barely escaped. You are quite courageous. You even dare to assassinate the gods. But Yi Chen couldn't help but tease. In the entire Yunxian tribe, the only person he could regard as a friend was Gully. Moreover, she was his friend when he rose from obscurity. After not seeing each other for more than half a year, it was inevitable that he felt a sense of familiarity. I was also very scared at the time. If it weren't for this, I wouldn't have missed seeing the gods of the Yunxia tribe. Gully told the truth. She made the decision to assassinate the gods of the Yunxia tribe with great determination and courage. This is assassinating gods. In the past, she would have doubted the authenticity of the gods, because the high priest kept saying that the gods could bless the tribesmen, but every winter, a large number of tribesmen still starved to death or froze to death. The gods mentioned by the high priest never appeared. But Yi Chen's arrival made her firmly believe that there are gods in this world. At least 90% of the gods of the Yunxia tribe are real, killing gods. Just thinking about it, even Gully's courage was a little shaky, but she had to do it, because she still remembered that after Yi Chen became the patriarch of Yunxian tribe, the high priest stopped promoting and worshipping other gods. There was only one god in the entire Yunxian tribe, Yi Chen. Although Gully was burly and strong, she was actually quite smart. She knew very well that the high priest's behavior must have been instructed by Yi Chen, and Yi Chen's behavior clearly meant that he did not allow the existence of other gods. Since there was also a god in the Yunxia tribe, sooner or later, a war of gods would break out with Yi Chen. She was willing to be Yi Chen's vanguard and go to kill this god. If she failed, at least she could test the approximate strength of this god for Yi Chen. She went to the assassination with the determination to die. Only the determination to die allowed her to overcome the fear of killing gods. Let's go. Take me to kill gods. Yi Chen smiled. Okay. I'll gather all the warriors now. Gully nodded without hesitation. she had a strong and blind admiration for Yi Chen. Since the gods of the Yunxia tribe can't even kill themselves, they must be no match for Yi Chen. Isn't Yi Chen too confident? Yes. I think he's a little overconfident. Gu Li is at the same level as him, both are at the first level of the spiritual law stage. Compared with Gu Li, his advantage is only the complete version of heaven slashing art plus the new technique. The new technique allows people to fly in mid-air, which can indeed greatly enhance the power of Zhan Tianju. But on the other hand, Gu Li was seriously injured before she even saw the face of the god of the Yunxia tribe. The audience in the live broadcast room suddenly became nervous. Everyone felt that Yi Chen underestimated the enemy. But fortunately, with Yi Chen's speed, even if he can't beat him, he should be able to escape. But the entire East Road army may suffer heavy losses. It's hard to say. Gu Li was able to escape because she sneaked into the Yunxia tribe alone to assassinate. After being attacked, she only needs to think about how to escape. At present, Yi Chen is leading the entire East Road army. Once attacked, if Yi Chen rescues people, he may delay his escape opportunity. God bless, Yi Chen must not encounter danger. Many timid people have begun to pray for God's blessing, because they all know what the god of the Yunxia tribe is, level 30 Lightning Queen Bee. According to the military's rating system for fierce beasts, when it reaches level 20, it already has the strength comparable to that of an ace gene warrior, and it needs to dispatch a mecha to kill it. Level 30 fierce beasts are already as powerful as elite-level mechas. It takes an ace mecha or multiple elite-level mechas to kill them, not to mention, the higher the strength of the fierce beast, the higher its wisdom. This Lightning Queen Bee is no less intelligent than humans, however. Unlike humans, it cannot pass on knowledge, and its vision, knowledge and experience are limited to this forest. According to the video data of the space battleship, hundreds of years ago, when the Lightning Queen Bee was just born, it was met by a tribe member of the Yunxia tribe by chance and brought back to the tribe. As the strength of the Lightning Queen Bee increased, its owner also became the patriarch of the tribe and took it to conquer the entire forest. When its owner died, the Lightning Queen Bee lost its shackles and no one could restrain it anymore. Not only could the Yunxia tribe no longer control other beasts in the forest through the Thunder Queen Bee, but they also had to face the dilemma of the Thunder Queen Bee being in a bad mood, wreaking havoc, or even killing people. The Yunxia tribe, which had been glorious for decades and whose population had surged to 5,000 or 6,000, ushered in a dark age. It was not until more than a decade later that there were less than 1,000 people in the Yunxia tribe and the rare foods they liked were becoming less and less, that the Thunder Queen Bee finally came to its senses. It reconquered the powerful beasts in the forest and let the tribe members take charge. In turn, the Yunxia tribe was responsible for collecting the food it liked and sending it to it. As time went on, after the Thunder Queen Bee accumulated enough experience, it became more and more adept at controlling the Yunxia tribe. It even learned the language of the human race and knew how to select those tribesmen who were loyal to it as the patriarch or high priest. 100 years ago, it even asked the high priest to put itself on the altar and became the only god in the Yunxia tribe. He no longer appeared in front of the tribe members, so that no one in the Yunxia tribe, except the high priests of all generations, knew that its true identity was actually a fierce beast. This powerful and cunning beast that controls the entire Yunxia tribe is very likely to use the tribe members and the beast as cannon fodder once it encounters a strong enemy, unless the lives of the tribe members of the Yunxia tribe are attacked with all their strength. Otherwise, even if the ace mecha or multiple elite-level mechas are dispatched, they may not be able to kill. According to analysis, Yi Chen's strength is about the same as that of an ordinary mecha. There is no chance of winning. Whether he can save his life depends on whether he can be ruthless at the critical moment and abandon the soldiers of the East Road army to escape alone. Chapter 72, Serving the King is like serving a tiger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The edge of the forest, the East Route army has assembled. Gu Li, whose injuries have not yet fully recovered, took the lead with an iron sword in hand. Behind them was the East Route army and the more than 600 beasts under her control. Although it cannot be called a large army, it is so mighty that it has the momentum of a large army. In the crowd, Hai Lan looked at Yi Chen, who was talking and laughing with Gu Li, and felt extremely melancholy. It took more than 2 months for her to successfully eliminate most of Gu Li's hostility with her eloquence, acting skills, and outstanding talent, and allowed her to join the East Route Army as a warrior. Her strategy also changed from the beauty trap to showing her strength as much as possible, and trying to replace Gully as the leader of the East Route Army, but judging from Yi Chen's attitude today, it seems that it is more difficult to replace Gully than the beauty trap, because Yi Chen has never come into contact with other tribesmen from beginning to end, let alone a friendly conversation. Gully is the only exception. Anyone who is not a fool will understand this attitude, unless Gully betrays. Otherwise, even if she makes some serious low-level mistakes, it will be difficult for her to be replaced as leader. After all, Gully is also a genius, and it is difficult to be completely suppressed in terms of strength, and with her loyalty to Yi Chen, the possibility of betrayal is also very small. It seems that the only way is to find a way to go to the other three armies. Otherwise, we can only hope to reorganize and expand the army and add the 5th and 6th leaders. Hai Lan is a little resentful. It would be fine if the beauty plan to seduce Yi Chen to fall in love with her failed. Taking a different approach, wanting to become the leader of an army by strength and military merit, and then approaching him after being regarded as Yi Chen's right-hand man, seems to be a difficult future, because she knows very well that in the East Army alone, there are 2 guys who came from the Green Grass tribe, who are obviously ambitious and want to replace Gully. These 2 are undoubtedly fake felons. After seeing Yi Chen's attitude towards Gully, he must have the same idea as her, and wanted to go to other armies to develop, but similarly, there are also fake serious criminals in other armies who are trying to compete for the position of leader to gain Yi Chen's trust and respect. The competition is extremely fierce. Shield Star, take your scout team to scout ahead. If you find a large number of ferocious beasts or members of the Yunxia tribe, report immediately. Entering the forest, Gully began to give orders. Other team leaders, discuss the direction of responsibility, be prepared to fight at any time when encountering ambushes and encirclements. Yes, that the team leaders shouted in response. Not bad. Did you design this scout team leader, etc.? Yi Chen couldn't help but praise. The Yanshan tribe has already carried out the first wave of reforms. As for the army, he is not in a hurry, because the so-called 4 armies sound very powerful, but in fact, there are only more than 200 people in one army. Even if the ferocious beasts under control are included, there are less than 1,000. What he didn't expect was that Gully actually took the initiative to divide the team, and even divided the responsibilities and had certain tactics. It was designed by someone else. Gully hesitated. He is a talent. Yi Chen just praised him and didn't say much. Gully secretly breathed a sigh of relief and quickly changed the subject. I understand a little bit why the ancients said that accompanying the king is like accompanying a tiger. Indeed, Gully didn't know at all that she was in big trouble, and she looked relieved. In the live broadcast room, some viewers couldn't help but sigh. What are you talking about? Why don't I understand? Isn't it just that Gully is jealous and wants to hide the fact that the designer is Hai Lan? Yes. Judging from Yi Chen's attitude, it seems that he is not interested in who the designer is. Others were confused. I don't chat with fools. I don't chat with fools either. Okay. I like chatting with fools. It's not that Yi Chen is not interested in the designer, but Yi Chen didn't show it. Don't think that it's just the organization of scouts and teams. In the barbaric era, it was already an epoch-making creation. With Yi Chen's vision and mind, how could he not see it and be uninterested? Someone stood up to answer questions and resolve doubts. Yi Chen's uninterested attitude is likely to be a plan to investigate this matter quietly afterwards. He knows very well that everyone has selfish desires, and Gully is no exception. Gully hesitated and didn't say the name of the person who designed these systems. In his opinion, there is only one possibility: jealousy. If it was Hai Lan, it would be better. It might be because of the repulsion between the same sex and he didn't want Hai Lan to stand out in front of him. If it was anyone else, this would be a huge flaw for Gully. Because of this, although Yi Chen felt that this designer was worthy of reuse, he only praised him casually and did not offer any reward, or even question the identity of the designer. If he wanted to know the identity of the designer, he could have checked it secretly. Yi Chen also wanted to see if Gully really had this big problem of jealousy and envy. If Gully really had this big problem, even if she was loyal, Yi Chen would not let her become a person in charge of military power in the future. So that's it. After this explanation, the confused people finally reacted. As expected of Yi Chen, his mind and tactics are natural in terms of political schemes. As expected, serving a king is like serving a tiger. This is Gully, and Yi Chen obviously treats her as a friend. Even if she makes a big mistake, she will probably forgive her. If it were someone else, they would probably die without knowing how they died. Fortunately, Gully was just jealous and felt that Hai Lan had a bad character, so she didn't want her to stand out in front of Yi Chen. Otherwise, she wouldn't know why her military power was suppressed by Yi Chen in the future. At this stage, Yi Chen hasn't experienced much intrigue, but he has learned political schemes naturally. In the future, as experience accumulates, it will probably be even more difficult for those fake serious criminals to gain his favor, attention, or even control him. By the way, with Yi Chen's personality and mind, how could he insist on taking risks when he knew that Gully was seriously injured without even seeing the god of the Yunxia tribe? Soon, the audience's sighs were brought back to the current situation. Yeah. Could it be that he is absolutely sure? Perhaps it is possible. With Yi Chen's heroic character and mind, he will never put himself in danger. Maybe, we are just worrying for nothing. I understand. Yi Chen's flying skills may be much faster than the 100 km/h shown. It is very likely that even if it is not as good as stepping on the clouds, it is definitely not much different. The reason why the speed is only more than 100 km/h on the way here is just because of the heavy snow. The speed is too fast and the vision is blocked. It is easy to see the road unclearly. If you encounter a powerful flying bird, you will not have time to dodge. Yes, that must be the case. If Yi Chen's newly created flying skills are not much slower than stepping on the clouds, then there will be no problem. The escape route of stepping on the clouds is only a two-dimensional plane, and there are many obstacles. The escape route of the flying skills is a three-dimensional space. When fighting, it can also play a huge advantage. With Yi Chen's strength, it may not really be unable to defeat the Lightning Queen Bee, that the audience in the live broadcast room talked more and more at ease, even excited, for them. If the speed of Yi Chen's newly created flying technique is not slower than that of stepping on the clouds, not only will Yi Chen's safety not be a concern, but they will also be extremely powerful after learning it. There is no doubt that their inference is correct. With Yi Chen's character, he would not risk his life without confidence. The speed of his new technique is indeed not slower than that of stepping on the clouds, because when he created the spell of flying with the wind, he also incorporated the insights he gained from creating stepping on the clouds in terms of improving speed and agility. However, his confidence is far more than just flying in the air. Chapter 73, Encircled. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Heading towards the depths of the forest, along the way, although there were spies arranged by the Yunxia tribe, they were all discovered in advance by the scout team and avoided by detours. If it was to save time, there was no need to do this. With Yi Chen's strength, he alone could actually kill his way to the Yunxia tribe's base openly. He brought the entire East Route army with him simply because he rarely showed up in the tribe. Although the high priest tried his best to promote his identity as the reincarnation of a god every day, and boasted about his various great achievements and magical abilities, but occasionally, he had to show his strength in front of the tribe members to maintain and enhance his prestige and deterrence in the tribe. To put it simply, since he chose to be a hands-off boss and not take the people-friendly route, then he had to let the tribe members know how powerful he was every once in a while. In this way, the tribe members could maintain and strengthen their awe of him and dare not have the idea of rebellion. Chief, the gathering place of the Yunxia tribe is not far ahead. After more than an hour, Gully became nervous. She was seriously injured before she even saw the opponent when she assassinated the gods of the Yunxia tribe. This caused some psychological trauma to her. Even though she had absolute confidence in Yi Chen's strength, she was still a little flustered when she saw the Yunxia tribe in front of her. No matter what the situation, you must stay calm at all times to make your chances of winning greater. Take a deep breath, which can calm you down faster and make your mind clearer. Yi Chen heard the tension in Guli's tone and reminded her, he himself didn't have much practical experience, but this didn't prevent him from knowing some theories. Guli nodded and took a deep breath according to what Yi Chen said. I don't know if it was a psychological effect or if deep breathing gave the brain enough oxygen, but it really made her feel a lot calmer. Let everyone, including the scout team, gather and shrink. No attack shall be launched without my order. Yi Chen explained. Guli was a little stunned. Doing so undoubtedly turned the entire East Route army into a live target. Moreover, it was a live target that could not be counterattacked, but after a brief surprise, without any rebuttal or questioning, she immediately issued an order according to Yi Chen's instructions. Soon, the entire East Route army, including more than 600 ferocious beasts, all gathered behind Yi Chen and Guli. Going deeper, tree houses built on towering trees came into view. These tree houses were all built with branches and thatch. They were of different sizes and heights. The short ones were only 2 or 3 meters from the ground, and the tall ones were more than 20 meters from the ground. Looking around, there was a tree house on almost every towering tree. It was endless, and Yi Chen was very surprised. Because judging from the number of tree houses, the number of human beings in the Yunxia tribe could be at least 2 or 3,000. Bang bang bang. In a tree house, a member of the Yunxia tribe discovered the existence of the Eastern Army. He immediately panicked and took out a hollow branch from the tree house, which was as hard as a steel pipe, and hit the trunk of the tree with all his strength. A dull and long sound quickly spread. Bang bang bang. Then, members of the Yunxia tribe continued to pour out of the tree house and quickly hit the tree trunk with hollow branches. The old, weak, women and children secretly poked their heads out of the tree house and looked at the invading enemy curiously. The young and strong men were agile and took out all kinds of strange weapons, quickly jumping and sliding among the branches. In the distance, black shadows flashed. And members of the Yunxia tribe and ferocious beasts continued to gather after hearing the news. In just over 10 minutes, the entire Eastern Army was surrounded. Looking around, there were at least 2 or 3,000 young men with weapons and thousands of beasts of various sizes. The entire East Route army, whether it was soldiers or beasts, all became nervous. This is unscientific. With Yi Chen's mind and brain, how could he make such a low-level mistake? From the orders he issued when he approached the Yunxia tribe's base, it seems that he deliberately let the East Route army fall into an encirclement. Intentionally let the East Route army be surrounded and then annihilated? How is it possible? It should be a mistake. After all, Yi Chen has no experience in marching and fighting. It is completely understandable that such a low-level mistake occurred. Guli is the same. She knew that Yi Chen's command was incorrect, but she still followed it. The audience in the live broadcast room shook their heads secretly. The East Route army was surrounded. There is no doubt that if a fight really broke out, it would suffer heavy losses. In terms of strength, the East Route army is actually not weaker than the Yunxia tribe, and is even stronger. As for the fierce beasts, it is no surprise that the Yunxia tribe has an absolute advantage. But as for the human warriors, although the Yunxia tribe has more than 2,000 young and strong people, the East Route army has only more than 200 people, but among these 200 people, the worst is also in the high level stage of qi condensation, and the strongest has reached the first level of the spiritual law stage. The backbone is the spirit release stage. Any one of them can easily kill the entire Yunxia tribe, but now that they are surrounded, the situation is completely different. If they really fight, although the East Route army still has the advantage, it is inevitable that they will suffer heavy losses. After all, among the fierce beasts controlled by the Yunxia tribe, there are many powerful beasts around level 20. But having said that, Yi Chen's low-level mistake led to the East Route army being surrounded. This is undoubtedly a good opportunity for those fake felons. It is indeed a good opportunity. Judging from their expressions, they seem to be thinking about how to help Yi Chen make up for this mistake, so as to attract Yi Chen's attention. It's a bit difficult. After all, they are on the hostile side right now. Not only do they have to help Yi Chen make up for this mistake, but they also have to not arouse suspicion. Soon, everyone's attention shifted to the fake felons from the Yunxia tribe. Like the Green Grass tribe, the Yunxia tribe also has many fake felons joining it through various means. There are quite a few, as many as 27, at this moment. These 27 fake felons were all planning how to seize this opportunity to attract Yi Chen's attention. These fake felons, even if placed in the entire galaxy, are the elite among the elites of the human race, but it was a pity that the god of the Yunxia tribe, the Thunder Queen Bee, did not give them enough time to think of countermeasures. There was a hissing sound from the top of a towering tree, 3 short and 2 long. In the encirclement, the white-haired high priest's ears twitched slightly. He immediately stood on tiptoes, leaned into the ear of the tall and strong clan leader, and spoke in a low voice. The great god informed me with his thoughts that these humans and ferocious beasts have repeatedly provoked and deserved death. You immediately ordered a strong attack, leaving no one behind. Obey the oracle. The clan leader suddenly became a little depressed. They are all human race. While the army from the east route wants to conquer the Yunxia tribe, he, the leader of the Yunxia tribe, also wants to conquer these powerful fellow tribesmen in front of him. However, he did not have the guts to refuse the oracle. Attack and kill all enemies. That he raised the spear in his hand and pointed at the army on the east road. Clan leader. Clan leader, you can't attack. That the fake felons who were thinking of countermeasures were all anxious. However, their efforts to stop him were in vain. The tribesmen under the 2,000 clouds raised their wooden spears one after another and threw them towards the army on the east road. The ferocious beasts controlled by the Yunxia tribe roared and charged closely behind these wooden spears. Seeing the spears shooting from all directions, the entire east route army fell into panic instantly. The hundreds of billions of viewers in the live broadcast room were heartbroken. Clan leader, Guli pulled out her long sword and subconsciously stood in front of Yi Chen. Hylon and the other 2 fake felons also reacted well. They did not miss this rare opportunity to show their loyalty and rushed forward immediately, as if they wanted to use their bodies to block the spear for Yi Chen. This frightened Guli, and she couldn't help but treat them differently. Don't worry, that Yi Chen smiled and flew up out of thin air. In the sea of chi, spiritual power surged out. He waved his hands lightly. The next second, everyone was stunned. Surrounding the 4 armies, thick earth walls rise up from the ground. Chapter 74, The Power Only God Possesses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Buzz buzz buzz. The earth wall rose from the ground at an incredibly fast speed. In the blink of an eye, it reached a height of 5 or 6 meters, blocking everyone's sight. Bang bang bang. Then, one after another, the sound of spears shooting into the earth wall continued to sound. Miracle, this is a miracle. That the originally panicked warriors looked at Yi Chen, who was like a god in the air, all prostrated on the ground and worshipped madly. The hundreds of ferocious beasts controlled by the East Road army also stared at Yi Chen above with big copper bell eyes in awe. I knew that the clan leader would never make a mistake. Guli also knelt on the ground, her eyes full of fanatical worship. Hylon and other fake serious criminals could only prostrate themselves on the ground and worship. Their eyes were extremely complicated. Before entering the exile planet, they always felt that they had received the highest paid mission in their lives, but now, if those sponsors stood in front of them, they would definitely ask for more money. If you can really control this greatest genius in the history of the human race, no amount of reward would be excessive. The outer perimeter of the earth wall, the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe looked at the thick earth wall, and then looked at Yi Chen floating above it. Each one was stunned. The other tribe actually had gods. All the charging beasts stopped. The whole world seemed to have stopped in time, and it was silent. Who am I? Where am I? What do I see? What's going on? Didn't Yi Chen just create a new set of skills? With a wave of his hand, he could actually form thick earth walls out of thin air. Could it be that Yi Chen is really the reincarnation of a god? That the hundreds of billions of viewers in the live broadcast room were all stunned. They had always thought that Yi Chen had only created a new set of skills, and the role of this new set of skills is to go a step further on the basis of stepping on the clouds, which can enable humans to break through the limits of their body structure and have the ability to fly freely in the sky. According to the scanner, Yi Chen had indeed only created one set of skills from beginning to end, but now, with a wave of his hand, thick earth walls rose out of thin air. How could this method, which was comparable to a miracle, be possible? I understand. I know the reason. Just when everyone was confused and didn't know what was going on, someone finally found the reason. Look at the image before the earth wall was formed. According to the scanner, Yi Chen's spiritual power is still operating according to the new method. It's just that after the spiritual power is released, the impact is different. The new method allows Yi Chen to have the ability to fly because the spiritual power induces the airflow and generates wind that can wrap the whole body. The appearance of those earth walls is because the spiritual power induces the earth, allowing the earth to extend a series of thick earth walls. To put it simply, Yi Chen's new method seems to be able to change or manipulate the natural laws of wind and earth. Being able to change or manipulate the natural laws of wind and earth, all the audience silently chewed and digested the meaning of this in their hearts. In a moment, the entire galaxy and all mankind fell into turmoil. Oh my God! Manipulating the laws of nature. Doesn't that mean we really have the power of gods? This is crazy. We humans can manipulate the laws of nature without any tools. This can't be wrong. Since ancient times, we humans have been full of awe and fear of the laws of nature. Even if we have entered the interstellar era, we can detect various natural phenomena, but we are still full of unknown fear of black holes and cosmic storms. Being able to manipulate the laws of nature without the help of any instruments and equipment, is this really something we humans can do? I'll kneel first, everyone follow me. Yi Chen is awesome. Yi Chen, the eternal God. In the live broadcast room, all the audience couldn't help but feel the urge to prostrate themselves. Many viewers even prostrated themselves on the ground and worshipped the screen. Only in this way can they express their feelings at the moment. It's so magical, so incredible, so unbelievable. One day, humans can actually manipulate the laws of nature like gods. Yi Chen creates another miracle. His new technique not only breaks through the limits of human body structure, but also controls the laws of nature. Is the ultimate goal of Yi Chen's practice to evolve into a god? With one move, he created a new height of human evolution. Yi Chen, what can we use to express our respect for him? All directors of this website unanimously decided to build a 30-meter-high bronze statue for Yi Chen outside the headquarters building. The stock market in the entire galaxy has once again ushered in a crazy surge. Since Yi Chen came out of nowhere, the market value of the stock market in the entire galaxy has skyrocketed 6 times in just 1.5 years. All news media have entered the carnival moment again. No one thought that it had only been a few hours, and he had just made a lot of money with his flying ability and swept the traffic. There was another wave. I didn't expect it. There is actually a bigger surprise. Control the laws of nature. How high must his talent be to create such a magical technique? After so many years, I have experienced the torment of wanting something but not being able to get it. This feeling is really nostalgic. In front of the screen, the top rich people in the world all showed ecstasy. They had made a lot of money by planning the stock market in advance, but they also did not expect that the stock market could set a new high and usher in a new round of surge. Moreover, based on their experience, it is almost certain that this round of super surge will definitely last for a long time. But this is not the most important thing. What really made them happy was Yi Chen's new skills, which could manipulate the laws of nature. This is the ability that only gods have. When their wealth has accumulated to this level, immortality and personal strength as strong as gods are what they dream of. If I had known this, I would have sent more people to the exile planet. Some top rich people couldn't help but slap themselves in the face. They regretted it in their hearts. If time could go back and they were given the choice, they would definitely not just spend a lot of money to hire a few top spies to blend into the heavy criminals and enter the exile planet to get close to Yi Chen. As long as the Federal Congress does not set restrictions, they will spare no expense and spend more than half of their family property to hire hundreds or thousands of top spies to blend into the heavy criminals. One more means one more hope of success. Even if the success rate is only 10%, they are willing to bet more than half of their wealth. Yi Chen's talent is really too tempting, although countless experts and scholars have asserted that he is about to reach the upper limit of creating new skills, but reaching the upper limit of creating new skills just means that he cannot create higher-level skills. There is definitely no problem in creating more skills that control the laws of nature. Chapter 75, Bolton in Conflict. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Human Federation, Military Headquarters Building. In the office, the 2 8-star generals and the 12 7-star generals all looked unblinkingly at Marshal Tai Xue, who had convened another emergency military meeting just over 2 hours ago. His eyes were filled with uncontrollable excitement and anticipation. We are convening another meeting to ask you whether you have formulated the restructuring plans for each district. The marshal's iron-blooded eyes spoke calmly. All the military bosses looked at Marshal Tai Xue speechlessly. It's only been 2 or 3 hours, how could it be possible to come up with a detailed restructuring plan so quickly? They need to first convene analysts and think tanks to formulate a rough plan, and then convene the top military officials in the area to discuss the feasibility of this plan. These top military officials, in turn, had to convene the generals in their respective jurisdictions to discuss the feasibility of this plan. After it is determined, various information and opinions will be fed back to the top to improve the entire plan. In addition to this, the military headquarters must also contact the governors of the major planets to communicate, and only after confirming that they can cooperate can the implementation of the entire plan be launched. If not, the meeting ends here. You can find a way to speed up the progress. Marshal Tieshua pressed down the communicator next to him with an expressionless expression and ended the video conference neatly. The 14 military bosses looked confused. They thought that Marshal Iron Blood was because Yi Chen's new technique could control the laws of nature, and he thought of some plan to boost the entire military. As a result, I just asked about the progress of the military's restructuring. It made them all excited for nothing. Little did they know that Marshal Tieshua convened this military meeting entirely because he saw that Yi Chen's new technique could control the laws of nature, and he had a premonition that the human race would usher in new opportunities for development. Subconsciously, this video conference was held, but he didn't react until all the military bosses appeared at the conference table. In the previous meeting, the opinion was reached to restructure the military at full speed. No matter how fast we speed up, it's impossible to directly raise the infantry's individual combat to a height higher than that of a battleship, right? After all, according to analysts' analysis, within the next 10,000 years, until generations of geniuses stand on Yi Chen's shoulders and push the cultivation methods to unimaginable heights, space battleships will still be the most powerful weapon of war for the human race. Of course, he would never admit that he was overly excited and convened this military meeting in a daze due to his enthusiasm. I can only find any excuse to pass it by. Angel Galaxy, Planet Clay, looking at the image. Data sent by the person in charge of the human trader, the double-winged golden angel Bolton. His expression was extremely ugly. Damn it, how could such a genius be born among a human race that is so inferior that they only know how to create some foreign objects? Burton had a terrible headache, extremely confused. A few hours ago, he had made up his mind not to report it to the Holy Lord of the Angel Clan, but he began to hesitate again. Reporting the images of human geniuses to the Holy Lord twice has made the Holy Lord extremely dissatisfied with him. If this happens again, if the Holy Master still doesn't take the greatest genius in human history seriously, he might be severely punished. But on the other hand, if the Holy Master feels that this matter is important and he conceals it, he will also be severely punished. Whether the Holy Lord will pay attention to the greatest genius in human history is the key. If it were Bolton, as early as when Yi Chen created the cloud stepping art, he had already paid attention to it and felt that this person was very likely to change the entire human race and pose a considerable threat to the angel race. It was precisely because of this that he reported the images of Yi Chen's creation of chaos art and cloud stepping art to the Holy Master twice in a row. In the final analysis, the average talent of the human race is too weak, and it is completely incomparable with our angel race. Because of this, the Holy Lord feels that after the rise of that human genius, the human race attempts to change its development direction and take the path of personal cultivation. It is not a big threat. At most, just because the realm is improved, the reaction and speed are enhanced, which will make the human race's space battleships more flexible and changeable. In terms of personal strength, even if the human race's realm reaches the upper limit of talent, it is not worth mentioning in front of the angel race. Normally speaking, this is indeed the case. But the development of the human race cannot be measured by normality at all. Thousands of years ago, no one would have thought that if we looked at the entire angel race, the human race, which lives in a corner of the blue star and could be wiped out by any angel race, would take just a few thousand years to unify the entire human race. The Milky Way even defeated the Angel Clan and in turn slaughtered billions of Angel Clan. Today, the human race, which has all the resources in the entire galaxy, is stronger than the angel race with its technological power. In terms of personal strength, it is really not worth mentioning due to talent. I am afraid that with the improvement of personal strength, the human race's technological level, which has been stagnant, will also achieve breakthrough improvements. After all, improving personal strength will allow the top scientists of the human race to live longer. With the weird creative talent of the human race, there is no guarantee that with the improvement from generation to generation, we will not think of a way to slowly improve the average talent of the human race. Burton felt a terrible headache. These are just his personal inferences, it was also mixed with his premonition, and he was completely considering the worst direction. If you analyze it to the Holy Master, you will only scold him for being frightened by the human race, but the facts prove that his pessimism is not without basis. The greatest genius in the history of the human race, with just one action, has broadened the path of cultivation for the entire human race to unimaginable heights. Time and time again. The art of chaos gives all human beings the qualification to practice. Flying knife technique is not worth mentioning, but the human genius only regarded this technique as a means of self-protection in the early stage and did not care about it. Cloud stepping technique has opened up a direction for the human race to increase speed. Heaven-destroying technique opened up a direction for the human race to improve their attacks. The flying ability of the new technique has opened up the idea of space combat for the human race. The ability of the new technique to form an earth wall seems ordinary, but it also allows the human race to learn a means of defense. But the new technique can both fly and form earth walls, which is what scares Bolton the most. Because this means that the greatest genius in human history has found a way to control the power of law. I don't know where Li Bo is now or when he will be able to kill that human genius. Bolton was a little depressed. Liebwa decided to destroy all his cultivation and sneaked into the exile planet to assassinate human geniuses. In order to ensure his own safety, he erased all information and clues about his infiltration into the exile planet. Even Bolton, his immediate boss, and the human traders didn't know what Liebwa looked like after plastic surgery or where he was randomly placed on the exiled planet. Naturally, we don't know to what extent Liebwa's plan to assassinate the human genius has been implemented. The human genius himself probably doesn't know that he has discovered a way to control the power of the law. As for the human race, it is naturally impossible to know how powerful the power of the law is. Flying and earth walls are just the tip of the iceberg. In addition, the creative talent of human geniuses is about to reach its upper limit. Before the next new technique is born, with Liebwa's mind and ability, he must have been killed. After thinking about it, Bolton decided not to report it to the Holy Lord for the time being. Blessed by the Holy Lords of all ages, I am willing to use my lifespan of 100,000 years in exchange for this human genius, so that he will not cause any more troubles. Chapter 76, Many Kinds of Divine Punishment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the forest, Yi Chen glanced at the beasts that were blocked outside by the earth wall and hesitated whether to continue charging, pull out the iron sword, dive towards them, swish. From a distance of more than 10 meters, he slashed a beast of more than 20 levels with a sword. Before the beast could react, the sword energy instantly traveled more than 10 meters and cut its head in half. Diamond suit, blood splattered. This extremely powerful beast didn't even have time to scream before its huge body fell down. Yi Chen didn't stop, but turned sharply and flew towards another beast with a strong breath, squeak. On the shoulder, the little golden ball became excited. It jumped up, swish swish swish. The golden hair on the front half of the body instantly turned into tens of thousands of hairpins, piercing the bodies of dozens of beasts in front. Turning around again, the golden hair on the back half of the body also turned into tens of thousands of hairpins, shooting towards the beasts on the other side. In the blink of an eye, he shot and killed dozens of beasts below level 10, after shooting all the golden hairs. The little golden ball did not stop and rushed towards a beast. With a bang, the small body suddenly exploded, the terrifying energy swept over a radius of more than 10 meters. The beast that was hit first was blown to pieces. In just a dozen seconds, the little golden ball came back to life. The body was covered with golden hairs again, like a golden, furry little ball. Idiot, can't you shoot less golden hairs at one time? That Yi Chen did not stop the little golden ball, but just reminded it, this little thing has been holding back for half a year, and it's time to let it go and adjust its mood. Of course, the most important thing is that the little golden ball has a very high IQ. The target is only those beasts, and it will not kill the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe. Squeak, the little golden ball has begun to understand human language, and he no longer shoots thousands of arrows at once after hearing this. Instead, it only shoots 100 golden hairs at a time. After the light was shot out, it revived through self-detonation and regained its golden fur. One man and one beast, like the god of death, quickly harvested thousands of beasts controlled by the Yunxia tribe. The speed was so fast that the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe were trembling and desperately prayed to the gods to save them. Good fellow, Yi Chen is really murderous. Looking at this posture, he is completely planning to kill all the beasts in one fell swoop. In the live broadcast room, all the viewers were also stunned. In the past, although Yi Chen had killed beasts, most of them were one or two, and he solved those beasts that could not be killed for the four armies. This was the first time they saw Yi Chen's ruthless side. Among these beasts, there are quite a few level 20 beasts. Wouldn't it be better to keep them and join the East Route army? That someone couldn't help but ask the doubts in his heart. Soon, someone guessed Yi Chen's idea. The powerful beasts have both advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that they can naturally enhance the strength of the East Route army. But the disadvantage is instability. Once a rebellion occurs, it may backfire on the East Route army and cause heavy damage to the East Route army. Yi Chen will naturally ignore one or two beasts. It is precisely because there are many beasts around level 20 here that he will kill them all at once. Because the more powerful beasts there are, and they are familiar with each other, the more likely they are to rebel. Killing them all will eliminate future troubles. Another main reason is that Yi Chen wants to kill all the beasts to intimidate the people of the Yunxia tribe, so that they can surrender as soon as possible and integrate into the Yanshan tribe as soon as possible in the future. Someone said worriedly, I feel that Yi Chen's style will easily bring adverse effects after being known by the 10,000 races, making the 10,000 races misunderstand that we humans are killing all other races without any mercy. This immediately attracted countless rebuttal. Childish. Compassion has always been a means for the strong to appease the weak for the sake of interests. That's right, there are only strength and interests among all races. When the races around the Milky Way have the strength to destroy our human race, they will not stop destroying our human race just because we have compassion. On the contrary, when our human race is strong enough to easily destroy other races, how many people will oppose not destroying them? At most, in order to maintain future rule and stability, many people will suggest adopting a conciliatory policy instead of bloody suppression. That's right. Yi Chen has never formulated any bloody policies for those beasts that have surrendered to various armies. I think Yi Chen's style is in line with our human race's foreign policy. Whoever dares to block the interests of our human race must be prepared to be bloodily slaughtered. Whoever surrenders and is loyal to our human race will not treat the other party unfairly. There are constant disputes in the live broadcast room. In the forest, Yi Chen and Little Golden Ball had killed thousands of ferocious beasts. The smell of blood spread thousands of meters away with the breeze. Yi Chen waved his hand, the thick earth wall shrank rapidly and disappeared. The soldiers of the Eastern Army were still prostrating on the ground to worship. The tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe also had the urge to prostrate themselves on the ground to worship. Yi Chen's eyes swept around. Only the god who ruled the Yunxia tribe was left. From the beginning, Yi Chen's attention was focused on paying attention to the slightest movement around him. However, no matter he used magic to create an earth wall to resist the attacks of spears and ferocious beasts, he still took out the iron sword and slaughtered those beasts crazily. But the gods of the Yunxia tribe never launched an attack. How cautious! That Yi Chen glanced at the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe. When he slaughtered the beasts, the old, weak, women and children of the Yunxia tribe had already left the tree house. At this moment, they all gathered behind the young and strong tribesmen, trembling, looking around, the densely packed population was no less than 4,000, which gave Yi Chen a big surprise again. If the Yunxia tribe could be conquered, it meant that the population of the Yanshan tribe could at least double. Surrender. Your gods dare not come out to save you. Yi Chen gathered his spiritual power in his throat, and his voice spread throughout the radius of a kilometer. No, the gods are just delayed. He will soon bring down divine punishment and destroy you invaders, the chief of the Yunxia tribe roared with gritted teeth. Divine punishment? Is this the divine punishment? Yi Chen waved his hand, fire dragons roared out and went straight for the tree houses, boom boom boom. In an instant, they engulfed the tree houses, the raging fire burned on the towering trees. The tribesmen of Yunxia tribe were horrified, they looked at their houses burning with pale faces and trembled. Or, is it this kind of divine punishment? Yi Chen waved his hand again, boom boom. In the air, huge lightning bolts came down, more than a dozen tree houses, along with the towering trees, were blown to pieces. Or, is it this kind of divine punishment? Yi Chen obviously made up his mind to scare the tribesmen of Yunxia tribe at once, and let the tribesmen and beasts of the East Road army know how powerful he is now. In the Sea of Qi, spiritual power surged wildly. Another tornado, carrying fallen leaves, appeared out of thin air. It madly destroyed all the big trees and tree houses in its path. In the blink of an eye, the huge waves surged in all directions with the encirclement of the Yunxia tribe as the center. Under the impact of the huge waves, those towering trees shook violently, and some were even uprooted. Scene after scene of horrific vision frightened countless tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe, who collapsed to the ground and trembled all over. It also made the audience in the live broadcast room breathe rapidly, their eyes dull, and shocked to the extreme. Chapter 77, The Yunxia Tribe Surrenders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh my god! Who can tell me how many new skills Yi Chen has created? Flames, lightning, huge waves, ice cones. Has he evolved into a god? Can he control all the laws of nature? Wow, my grandma is calling me wow. I can tell you for sure that this is a skill. Whether it's flying, earth walls, or flames and lightning, they are all a skill. I heard that many powerful beings of the 10,000 races have the ability to move mountains and seas, and call the wind and rain with a wave of their hands. Once we learn Yi Chen's new skills, won't we also have the ability to fight against the 10,000 races alone? In fact, in Xuanhuan, after the release of the secrets of the martial arts, our human race already has the ability to fight against the 10,000 races alone. Otherwise, the military would not have started to frantically reorganize the infantry that was previously regarded as cannon fodder. However, that is relative to the ordinary 10,000 races. Those powerful 10,000 races can reach the level of blowing up space battleships with one punch. But on the other hand, our human race has just started, and there is still a huge room for improvement. Maybe, after tens of millions of years of development, the strongest of our human race can also reach the level of blowing up space battleships with one punch. That scene is simply unimaginable. The audience in the live broadcast room felt like they were going crazy. No one could have imagined that Yi Chen's new skills could not only manipulate the laws of nature, but also manipulate many kinds of natural laws. It seemed to open an extremely vast door in front of everyone's eyes, let everyone see it and begin to look forward to an extremely brilliant future. All experts, scholars and research institutes are 100% sure that Yi Chen's talent in creating skills is about to reach the upper limit. It took more than 8 months to create a new skill, and it does seem that it is about to reach the upper limit. But this skill is so amazing that it can be used as more than a dozen powerful skills. Compared with the speed of creating skills in the past, more than 8 months is actually not much. Yes. So, is Yi Chen's talent in creating skills about to reach the upper limit, or have those experts, scholars and research institutes misjudged it? Soon, a question emerged in the minds of all mankind: is Yi Chen's talent in creating skills really about to reach the upper limit, or have the experts, scholars and research institutes misjudged it? When Yi Chen spent more than 8 months to create a new skill, almost everyone agreed with the inference of experts, scholars and major skill research institutes. Yi Chen's talent in creating skills is about to reach the upper limit. but now, it feels otherwise. The power of the new skill is simply incredible. It is completely normal to spend a little more time than creating other skills, not to mention ordinary people, even those experts and scholars and researchers from major skills. Research institutes have all begun to doubt their judgment. They can use their reputation and lives to guarantee that the previous inferences are based on countless test data and research materials, and are definitely not conclusions drawn on a whim. Logically speaking, it is impossible to misjudge, but Yi Chen is unreasonable. He has used countless examples to tell the world that he is the greatest genius in the history of the human race, a genius that has never been born in the human race from ancient times to the present. Miracle is his synonym. Common sense can't be used on him at all. Military headquarters building, in the conference room. Marshal Xuanhuan stared at Yi Chen on the screen. In his heart, he couldn't help but feel the urge to call an emergency high-level meeting again. Fortunately, he had the previous experience. He endured it this time. But he didn't know that the 14 military leaders who were also staring at the screen, at this moment, they were all ready to attend the emergency high-level meeting again. They showed the same symptoms as Marshal Xuanhuan before, which was excessive excitement. Although they had not yet thought about what to say at the high-level meeting, they just wanted to attend. They felt that only by holding another high-level military meeting could they express their respect for Yi Chen's new skills. Now, can you tell me, have you decided to surrender or fight to the death? In the forest, Yi Chen, who was suspended in the air, swept his eyes across the faces of the trembling people of the Yunxia tribe. You are the greatest god, I am willing to surrender. A fake felon from the Yunxia tribe seized the opportunity, took a few steps forward, and knelt in front of Yi Chen. There is no god more powerful than you in this world. Not to mention, you are the god of our human race. Merciful God. From the fact that you killed all the fierce beasts without harming our human race, we can see that you are the only god of our human race. More than 20 fake serious criminals who sneaked into the Yunxia tribe rushed out of the crowd and knelt on the ground, trying to make their presence felt in front of Yi Chen and make him familiar. Their actions were like a fuse, causing the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe to kneel on the ground, in the blink of an eye. Except for the tribe leader of the Yunxia tribe, all the tribesmen knelt on the ground. High Priest. The tribe leader glared at the high priest who was also kneeling on the ground to surrender, and glared at him. But the high priest pretended not to hear. As the only person in the Yunxia tribe who had seen the gods, he was the only one who knew that the gods were just fierce beasts. Normally, he is definitely the most loyal believer of the gods, but at this moment, he would only regret that he was a step slower in reaction. When he wanted to be the first to surrender and try to improve his favorability in front of Yi Chen, more than 20 guys had already surrendered first. Very good, from now on, you are a member of the Yanshan tribe. Yi Chen ignored the chief of the Yunxia tribe who was still standing there, and instead set his sights on the high priest who was glared at by the chief. Are you the high priest of this tribe? Great gods, I will be your most loyal believer. The high priest hurriedly kissed the ground under his feet. Yi Chen smiled and said, the god of your tribe should be just a ferocious beast, right? Wow, the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe were in an uproar. The faith in their hearts was trampled, but they dared not speak out. Yes. It is just a false god, and its true body is just a queen bee. The high priest hurriedly replied, buzz. This statement, like a thunderclap, exploded in the minds of all the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe. How is this possible? The god that he worshipped turned out to be a fierce beast. Yi Chen understood and continued to ask, just now, your tribe suddenly launched a strong attack. Did you receive the order of this queen bee? Great God, you really have the ability to predict the future. The reason why we launched a strong attack just now was that the queen bee guided me through the sound to inform the tribe leader to issue the order to attack. The high priest nodded repeatedly. This explanation made the tribesmen of the Yunxia tribe pale. The faith in their hearts gradually collapsed. Even the tribe leader of the Yunxia tribe was shaky, not as firm as before, and was going to defend the god he was loyal to with his death. It seems that it knows it can't win and doesn't plan to show up. The guess in his heart was confirmed, and Yi Chen was a little disappointed. If the queen bee was not nearby, perhaps he could find a way to lure the other party out and kill it. Since the other party has been spying nearby, he naturally knows that he can't beat him. No matter how he lures him, he won't come out to die. Unfortunately, he has no spiritual consciousness and his perception ability is too weak. although he can kill the queen bee with his current strength, he can't find the other party, he can only wait and see. Chapter 78 Reasons for the Withdrawal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gully, count the population of Yunxia tribe and arrange to return to Yenshan tribe as soon as possible. Yi Chen turned his head to look at Gully behind him. The entire East Route Army? Gully asked in confusion. The entire East Route Army. Yi Chen nodded. With the threat of the Lightning Queen Bee, he had to temporarily withdraw the East Route Army back to Yenshan tribe, wait until the East Route Army's strength is improved to the point where it can be fearless of the Lightning Queen Bee, and then send it out again. Doing so will undoubtedly slow down the expansion of the sphere of influence. But for the sake of safety, it has to be done. Fortunately, the population of Yunxia tribe is as high as more than 5,000 people, and the harvest is huge, slowing down the expansion of the army. This loss is completely within his acceptable range. Okay. Gully didn't ask any more questions. She immediately summoned all the team leaders and began to count the number of people and arrange the return to Yenshan tribe. The people of Yunxia tribe cooperated very well. Even the chief of the Yunxia tribe, who had not yet surrendered, did not resist. In his heart, he had actually surrendered. He just didn't surrender for the sake of food, clothing, and some light tools began to be collected and sorted out. It's over. Yi Chen ordered the entire Eastern Army to withdraw to the Yenshan tribe. Is this to call it a day and end this war that has lasted for more than a year? In the live broadcast room, some viewers panicked because of Yi Chen's order. Don't worry, this is a good thing for us. Good thing? What a joke! If Yi Chen is not interested in conquering and occupying more land, then he must not be interested in improving the average strength of the Yenshan tribe. He will not teach any more skills. How can this be a good thing? How about some judgment and reasoning ability? First of all, you have to understand that Yi Chen is very ambitious. Unless he encounters a serious setback or is really short of manpower, it is impossible to withdraw his troops and end the expansion. Some smart people began to analyze the intention behind Yi Chen's decision. This is actually very similar to the period when our human federation just developed space jump technology. Whether it is the parliament, the military, or our ordinary civilians, they are all ambitious, and many people even clamor to unify the entire universe. Even on some life planets, when encountering top-level beasts and losing a lot of warships and troops, the first thing they think of is to improve the warships and destroy these top-level beasts. This Lightning Queen Bee is just like the top-level beasts that our human federation encountered in the past. It is a trouble, but it can't stop our expansion. It was not until we encountered the 10,000 Races Alliance and suffered heavy losses that our human federation accepted reality and began to choose to retreat to the entire galaxy. It's the same for Yi Chen. Unless a certain army is completely wiped out and the opponent is a powerful beast that even he can't defeat, he will never withdraw his troops to end his expansion. This explanation still makes many people feel confused. Someone asked, why did he let the entire Eastern Army retreat back to the Yenshan tribe? Because of the Lightning Queen Bee. Yi Chen has been trying to lure it out and kill it. However, the Lightning Queen Bee is powerful and cunning. Even if all the beasts were slaughtered and the Yunxia tribe surrendered, it refused to try to sneak attack Yi Chen. Yi Chen is not like us. We can use the space battleship scanner to scan that it is hiding in the branches of a big tree and spying. If we can't kill the Lightning Queen Bee, we must guard against its sneak attack. Yi Chen himself it must be safe and secure, and even welcomes the sneak attack of the Thunder Queen Bee. But the East Route Army and the Yunxia tribe have no way to resist the sneak attack of the Thunder Queen Bee. There is no other way. Yi Chen can only order the entire East Route Army to follow the people of the Yunxia tribe and withdraw to the Yenshan tribe. Only in this way can he protect the safety of the East Route Army and the people of the Yunxia tribe. Leaving a group of soldiers from the East Route Army rashly is tantamount to sending them to death. So that's it. Fortunately, I thought Yi Chen was going to withdraw his troops. As soon as these words came out, the puzzled people finally understood. The uneasy mood suddenly calmed down. Not only that, the reason why Yi Chen's decision is a good thing for us is that the Lightning Queen Bee is a time bomb. Maybe, this lightning queen bee will even secretly follow the large army and sneak into the Yanshan mountains. If that happens, it will be a huge threat to the entire Yanshan tribe. Yi Chen definitely doesn't have time to protect the people of the Yanshan tribe every day, and it is even more impossible for the East Route army and the tribesmen to stay in the valley all the time. If nothing unexpected happens, after returning, he will definitely order someone to notify the other 3 armies and summon some geniuses back. At the very least, the complete version of heaven-slashing art and the chaos art of the spiritual law period will be taught. In this way, even if the 4 armies encounter a sneak attack from the lightning queen bee, they can resist it, or even kill the lightning queen bee in return. As soon as these words came out, the audience in the live broadcast room became excited. So, after we go back, we can learn the complete version of heaven-slashing art and the chaos art of the spiritual law stage. Maybe, a new technique may also be taught. According to convention, at least a weakened version of the new technique will be taught. After more than 8 months, I finally got the complete version of Zhan Tianju. The technique has not been passed down, so don't be too happy too soon. It should be true, but Yi Chen, he is unreasonable. The excitement on the faces of the audience in the live broadcast room disappeared in an instant. Everyone calm down, try to restrain the desire and expectation in your heart. After being abused by Yi Chen's unreasonable behavior, most people have realized a truth: the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Never be too happy before the moment of success comes. In a towering tree, the lightning queen bee stared straight at the people of the Yunxia tribe in the distance. Its body is light yellow, its body is only the size of a football. In its eyes, there is a light of anger and hatred. Several times, it almost couldn't help but attack the people of the Yunxia tribe, but thinking about the powerful strength shown by Yi Chen, it finally restrained the anger and hatred in its heart. It hated Yi Chen, but the winner was the king and the loser was the enemy. It couldn't beat Yi Chen, and didn't want to die, so it could only hold it in. What it hated more was the people of the Yunxia tribe, because the people of the Yunxia tribe made it feel betrayed. It wanted to use lightning to blast all the people of the Yunxia tribe, regardless of gender, age or young, into ashes, but Yi Chen was nearby, and reason warned it not to act rashly. It could only watch as the people of the Yunxia tribe collected food and followed the eastern army to slowly leave the forest. After hesitating again and again, it finally took the risk and followed. It couldn't get rid of the hatred in its heart if it didn't take revenge. Chapter 79, The Attitude of the Angel Saint. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Angel Galaxy, Planet Clay. Damn human genius. In the palace, Bolton was furious. His golden wings spread out, and thousands of golden lights shot out from the huge wings. Boom boom boom, wherever the golden light passed, whether it was a huge jade stone pillar with a diameter of 2 or 3 meters, or walls and decorations made of various top-level spiritual minerals, all turned into ruins in an instant. Boom. The dilapidated palace finally couldn't bear the pressure and collapsed. Bolton flew into the sky and flew out of the ruins. He was already angry, and he became even more furious under his gray face. Damn the saints of all generations, they are all useless trash. So much so that even the words of treason that were enough to put him in a huge crisis came out of his mouth. Just a few hours ago, he was still praying for the blessings of the saints of all generations, so that the greatest genius in the history of the human race would not do anything to embarrass him. He never expected it. Only then did they have peace for a few hours. I actually received video footage from the human traitor. Again, that human genius did not create the technique that can control the power of the law by accident. The other party has completely mastered the use of the control of low-level law power. Once this technique is passed on, all of humanity will suddenly understand what the ultimate power of this world is. After cursing the successive holy lords, Bolton finally sobered up a little. His eyes swept over the faces of the guards who came over after hearing the news and might have heard him cursing. The successive holy lords, these guards just looked at the collapsed palace with surprise on their faces. It seemed that they did not hear his previous roar and curse. The next second, countless golden lights shot out from Bolton's wings, killing all the guards. Not one was left alive. What should I do? What should I do? Bolton had a splitting headache. He wished he could explode on the spot. If he had sent the serious criminals to the exile planet in advance, he might not have had the courage of Liebwa to destroy all his own cultivation, blend into the serious criminals, and enter the exile planet to assassinate Yi Chen, but he would send a large number of powerful silver angels without hesitation. Give them a promise that they cannot refuse, let them destroy all their cultivation, blend into the serious criminals at all costs, and assassinate Yi Chen in the shortest time. But now, there is no such opportunity. The angel race does not have large space battleships of the human race, only the existence of the golden angel level can cross the cosmic storm in the flesh and enter the exile planet, but golden angels like him are all powerful beings of the angel race, they dare not take risks to kill a human genius. After all, even for golden angels, crossing the cosmic storm is a big risk, not to mention that when they reach the exile planet, they will inevitably be detected by the large battleships of the human race. The most troublesome thing about the human race is that the human race's large warships and scanners cannot completely isolate even powerful beings like the Golden Angel. Unless Yi Chen's talent reaches the upper limit, he can no longer help the human race on the road of cultivation. Otherwise, once the human race finds that the Golden Angel appears around the exiled planet, they will definitely stop him frantically at all costs. But when Yi Chen's talent reaches the upper limit and he can no longer create a more powerful technique, it will not make much sense to assassinate him. Only a few hours have passed, and the question is put in front of Bolton again: should I report to the Holy Lord? Hesitated again and again, he finally took out the gem used for communication and sent the image data to the guard responsible for communication around the Holy Lord. There is no way, he has to report it to the Holy Lord. Even if the Holy Lord is blind, he still arrogantly thinks that the human race is not a concern for the cultivation route, and at most he will be severely punished. If he conceals it, he will be found out by those hostile golden angels sooner or later. Once he gets out, he will be doomed. Angel Clan Holy Land, in a palace thousands of feet high, the Angel Clan Holy Lord, with 6 huge golden wings spread out, continuously absorbs the spiritual energy within a radius of 100 miles. The terrifying pressure caused the surrounding airflow to stagnate. Holy Lord, Lord Bolton sent the video data, saying that there is important information that needs your decision. A double-winged silver angel guard flew over in fear. He is so troublesome, that the Angel Clan Holy Lord looked unhappy. To become the supreme Holy Lord of the Angel Clan, he relied not only on the most powerful talent of the Angel Clan, but also on the crazy efforts and diligence. Only in this way can he become the most powerful existence of the Angel Clan, and rely on his invincible strength to eliminate all obstacles and ascend to the position of the Holy Lord. Being interrupted in his practice is his most irritating moment. However, he is unhappy. There are important matters that need to be dealt with. The result of being a hands-off boss will inevitably lead to the Golden Angels holding power, deceiving their superiors and subordinates, and even rebelling. He waved his hand, and the gem held by the double-winged silver angel guard flew in front of him. Energy was input into it. The image of the genius of the human race appeared in front of him for the 3rd time. Damn it, why is it him again? Bolton, are you testing and probing my bottom line? The moment he saw Yi Chen, the angel saint was furious. He never thought that after severely reprimanding Bolton, it had only been more than half a year, Bolton had made the image of the human genius appear in front of him for the 3rd time. It was only more than half a year. In terms of the long life of the angels, more than half a year was just a blink of an eye. That just as he was thinking about how much shock the replacement of Bolton would bring to the entire Angel Clan's top leaders, the image of Yi Chen flying out of thin air with a messenger appeared in front of him. This human genius is really capable. He can actually create this kind of skill. If the speed is fast enough, combined with the Zhan Tianju he created before, once the human military forms an army of geniuses, it will be a bit threatening. The Angel Saint's idea of removing Bolton from the position of head of the Angel Intelligence Organization faded a little. The image was still flashing quickly. Soon, they advanced to the Yunxia tribe and launched a strong attack. Thousands of ferocious beasts followed by thousands of spears rushed towards the Eastern Army. The next second, Yi Chen waved his hand, and thick earth walls rose out of thin air. The Angel Saint's eyes froze. This human genius actually found a way to control the power of the law by accident. That his eyes narrowed slightly, the murderous intent flashed across his face. No wonder Bolton knew I didn't want to see this human genius, but he still sent his video data to me. This human genius is indeed a threat. The idea of removing Bolton from the position of the head of the intelligence organization was completely gone. Why hasn't it ended yet? Seeing that the image was still advancing rapidly, a hint of doubt flashed across the eyes of the angel saint. 10 seconds later, the image advanced to the moment when Yi Chen waved his hand, and dragons of fire roared out, waving his hand again, lightning, waves, and clusters of ice arrows continued to emerge. The angel saint was stunned. This is impossible. He can't possibly understand how to control the power of the law so quickly. With the poor average talent of the human race, it is impossible to give birth to such a brilliant genius. It's incredible enough that he stumbled upon it by accident. How could he fully understand how to control the power of the law? Deep in his heart, an inexplicable fear rose. Chapter 80, The Heaven-Slaying Technique with a Rapidly Increased Attack Range. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The average talent of the human race is so low. Even if the population exceeds hundreds of millions, it is logically impossible for geniuses with such amazing talents to be born. The Holy Lord of the Angel clan cannot figure it out. How could a self-created cultivation method appear among the human race, and in less than 2 years, this cultivation method be promoted to a level that can even be controlled by the power of law? With no previous experience to draw from, even he, the most talented Holy Lord among the angels, doubted that he could achieve this level. Moreover, it seems that now is not the time to think about this issue. No matter how the human race could give birth to such an amazing genius, the facts are before our eyes. What matters is how the angels respond. Is it possible that we really need to contact those races that have enmity with the human race and form a coalition to invade the galaxy as Bolton suggested? His brows wrinkled. In the end, he shook his head. The price paid for doing so is too high. Those races that have enmity with the human race must also be afraid of the human genius at this moment. But unless you have absolute strength in things like the coalition, whoever initiates it will have to give up the greatest interests. That should be it. This human genius talent in creating exercises is about to reach its upper limit. It is impossible for him to create any more shocking exercises. The average talent of the human race is also very low. Only those human race geniuses can pose a certain threat when they come together. But this threat is not to the extent that we, the angel race, have to spend a huge price and mobilize other races to form a coalition to attack the human race. After much thought, the Holy Lord of the Angel tribe finally gave up on the idea of launching a coalition. Even though Yi Chen, the Holy Master, felt threatened by Yi Chen's terrifying ability to create techniques, but in his opinion, a race cannot easily turn around by relying on a genius. The emergence of Yi Chen would at most make the human ship start to turn around, but whether it can successfully turn around and start driving depends on the joint efforts of generations of geniuses. Yi Chen's existence only allows the human ship to change its direction and lead and open up new routes ahead. When his creative talent is about to reach its upper limit, he will naturally no longer be able to lead and open up new routes for the big ship of humanity. Another reason is that the average talent of the human race is too low. Even if a new development direction is found, without millions, tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of years of accumulation, racial talent cannot evolve rapidly and make breakthroughs. Hundreds and tens of millions of years later, when the human race truly became a threat to surrounding races with its strong personal strength and technological power, there was no need for the angel race to initiate, and a coalition force was naturally formed quickly. Notify Bolton and ask him to find a way to eliminate this human genius as soon as possible, even if all the traitors trained in the human race are wiped out. At the same time, let him secretly order the traitors cultivated in each tribe to find ways to find out the attitude of the senior leaders of each tribe towards the human race. If possible, let the traitors of each tribe find a way to publicize the threat of the human race within each tribe. After pondering for a moment, the Holy Lord of the Angel tribe finally made a decision. Yes, the two-winged silver angel guards bowed to accept the order. Exile planet, the East Route army and more than 5,200 people from the Yunxia tribe left the big forest and marched toward the Yanshan mountains. On a level 6 green bull, Yi Chen sat cross-legged and concentrated on training. This green bull is huge and its limbs are as thick as stone pillars. Moreover, its 4 hooves can generate a suction force, even on extremely steep mountains. It can still walk on flat ground. Coupled with their docile personalities, the 4 armies of the Yunxia tribe have tamed many green bulls for transportation. It is precisely because of these green bulls that the speed is not slow, even though there are many old, weak, women and children from the Yunxia tribe in the large army. Of course, it won't go anywhere fast. If the green bull were running at full speed, it would also feel a strong jolt. 1 day later, coupled with the previous intermittent accumulation, Yi Chen successfully broke through to the second level of the spiritual technique stage. The spiritual power becomes more and more pure and powerful. He raised his eyes and glanced around. The team has entered the Yunxia mountains. Jumping down, he used cloud stepping technique at full speed. The whole person was like a bolt of lightning, quickly shuttled through a jumble of rocks as the tribesmen marveled. Then, it soared into the sky again, no wings, but flying in the sky. Sometimes it accelerates, sometimes it turns quickly, as nimble as a flying bird. The speed is also not inferior to cloud stepping technique. For a moment, he swooped down toward a boulder. When he was still nearly 20 meters away from the boulder, he suddenly slashed out with his sword. A bolt of sword energy struck the boulder at a speed that made it almost impossible to see the shadow of the sword. Boom! In front of the sword energy, the boulder was split into 2 instantly. The notch is flat and smooth. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. Sure enough, as his level improved, the power of his various techniques also improved greatly. Especially the heaven-destroying technique has been greatly enhanced. In terms of power, it may have been increased by about 10%. But the distance has doubled. During the spiritual release stage, every time you advance to a small realm, the sword energy distance of the heaven-slaying technique can be increased by about 1 meter. After breaking through to the spiritual magic stage, his sword energy limit has reached 10 meters. As for the spiritual technique stage, every time you advance to a small realm, the distance of the sword energy can be increased to 10 meters. Now that he has broken through to the second level of the spiritual technique, his sword energy distance has reached 20 meters, which is twice as far as the first level of the spiritual technique. This sword energy distance, according to the scanner, how come it reaches 20 meters? Soon, the audience in front of the screen also discovered something unusual. Every time you advance to a small realm, doesn't the sword energy distance increase by 1 meter? It stands to reason that since Yi Chen has broken through to the second level of the spiritual technique stage, his sword energy will also increase from 10 meters to 11 meters. Is it possible that after the spiritual art stage, every time you advance to a small realm, the distance of the sword energy will no longer increase by 1 meter, but will increase by 10 meters? That everyone was shocked by this idea. If this is really the case, after the 9th level of the spiritual art stage, wouldn't the distance of the sword energy be able to reach 90 meters? Perhaps if you break through to a higher realm, the distance of the sword energy may increase by 100 meters for every small realm you advance to. Good guy, that doesn't mean that heaven-destroying technique is not only powerful in melee combat, but can also be used as a super long-range attack method. At the same time, it is also ridiculously powerful. God bless. After returning, Yi Chen must live up to expectations and teach all kinds of skills. Don't get excited, everyone, don't get excited. You must hold it in. Only by holding it in, Yi Chen won't act out of common sense after he returns, and he won't let our happiness be in vain. No one expected that. Everyone was looking forward to the stars and the moon, anxiously waiting for Yi Chen to return to the Yunxia tribe as soon as possible. Yi Chen, who has broken through to the second level of the spiritual art stage, can give everyone a huge surprise.